you join me on Friday, the 10th of July, for Chapter 24, Extract 2. And we leave it where Uncle Edward's explained to the judge, is Jim innocent or guilty? Don't tell me Jim is innocent. My uncle placed a hand on my shoulder. Jim is guilty, he said, and January gave a small cry. Thanks, Uncle, I muttered. Somehow Uncle Edward changed from being the judge's friend to being the actor on the stage. I knew the signs, the way he held himself, the way he used his voice. Uncle Edward was about to give the last great performance of his life, to save a life. But he wasn't hoping to save his own life. He could see it was too late for that. He was saving mine. Judge Coote, he said. His voice was soft, yet it carried all around the oak walls of the courtroom. You have not heard. You could have heard a pin drop. That's what people say, of course. What I mean is I didn't hear a pin drop. This could have been because I was wrong. You couldn't hear a pin drop, or it might have meant that if anyone actually dropped a pin in court, that I would have heard it. I guess I'll never know. I do not plan on going back to court and start dropping pins to find out if I can hear them. Sorry. Carry on reading. Jim is guilty. I do not expect you to change the great laws of Eden City to set him free to rob again. What I do ask is that you use the finest of human feelings, mercy. For when we use mercy, it drops like rain from heaven upon the ground below. I've heard that somewhere before, the judge agreed. Little Jim was in an orphanage when I found him, a harmless, helpless, motherless child in mortal danger. Mortal danger? He was starved and beaten and made to work at weaving machines until he dropped, Uncle Edward said. That's what homeless children are for. That's how Mucklethrift makes his money, using children like that, the judge argued. A faint red spot of anger appeared in Uncle Edward's cheek. He wanted to shout, "Then Mucklethrift is a monster!" But he swallowed his anger and went on. This poor child, he said, patting my shoulder, faced something worse than death at the weaving looms. He was taken from the orphanage by a cheap criminal called Edward Slaughter. He faced death at the end of a rope if he was caught. That's worse, the judge agreed. Little Jim was like the boy who stood on the burning deck. Jim pleaded to be set free from his duties, Uncle Edward said, and his voice was breaking with the pain of the tale. Every night he sobbed himself to sleep. Every night he pleaded, Uncle Edward, can I stop now? I did that, I asked. Uncle Edward tightened his grip on my shoulder till it hurt. It was a sign for me to keep quiet. And then he raised his voice and raised his free hand to the candle chandelier as if he was pleading. He stole the lines from the poem. Well, it was the last thing he'd ever steal, and he cried in a childlike voice. Say, Uncle, say, is yet my task done? Speak, Uncle, once again, he cried, if I may yet be gone. Someone in the public gallery sobbed. January bit hard into her handkerchief, and the judge sniffed. You turned down this poor child's plea, the judge asked. I did, that's why I deserve to die twice, and the boy deserves to live, Uncle Edward explained. The judge wiped a tear from his eye. Sergeant, take this man away and hang him in the morning. Yes, Judge Coote, what about the boy? Set him free. Send him back to the orphanage on the 10 o'clock train tomorrow morning. Constable Dross, or it could have been Constable Drab, unfastened my chains. There was a lot of noise in court as the judge rose and left, but one voice was screaming louder than all the rest, and it screamed, "No, please, no!" And I realised that painful voice was mine. Join me for Monday's extract. Chapter 25, Eden City, the morning of the execution. Bye, Endeavour.